Hello. Welcome to the 2025-2026 academic year here at CCBC. My name is Dan Sim. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Engagement. I'm so happy you've chosen to get involved in the student organization here at CCBC. There's lots of wonderful opportunities for you ahead within this year, whether you're a student, whether you've done this before, or whether this is brand new, this student leadership piece of it. We're here to help you in the Office of Student Engagement, and we're here to help guide you as an advisor and work with you however we can to assist you in the student organization be wonderful this year. So like I said, my name is Dan. I'm located over on the Catonsville campus in the lower level of the barn building. The folks you might find besides me are my colleagues Crystal and Nancy, and those are going to be the primary contacts if your student organization's at Catonsville. If you are at Dundalk, the Student Engagement Office is located in the Lloyd College Center on the second floor. And these are some of the friendly faces you're going to see there to help you out. My colleague Dan, my colleague Destiny, and my colleague Crissy. Then if you're at Essex, Student Engagement Office over is in the Romadka Center on the lower level near the bookstore there. And the faces that are going to be best resources over at Essex are Crissy and Karen. So if you haven't met those folks on your campus, stop by, introduce yourself. We're always happy to meet folks and student leaders that are working in different ways, advisors that are working different ways, and we're excited to partner with you to help make this a wonderful academic year. And so we want to talk a little about student leadership because every student organization is at the heart an opportunity for students to provide some leadership, some opportunities to campus community. And what we found year after year is that students grow and learn so much from being student leaders, finding a way to connect with others, communicate with others, and finding a way to really motivate those people to help achieve their goals on the campus community. We want to help you be all you can be as student leadership. And student leadership's hard, it's difficult, but it's so rewarding for those who choose to get involved and for who choose to work hard to make the experience as well as they can. And we always want to thank our student organization advisors. They contribute so much to the student leadership that happens, the growth that happens with our student leaders. So whether you do this now or do it later, please, right now, if we're hopefully at the beginning of your experience as a student leader, think about what you want to benefit from being a student leader, what you want your student organization to achieve this year, and what do you hope that students gain in their leadership roles. Having a chance to look at this intentionally, having a chance to really think and reflect on these things, write it down, revisit that in a month or so, will help you keep moving in a positive direction with your student organizations. We ask student leaders to meet with their advisors. We ask advisors to meet with student leaders to make sure that all members of the leadership of the group are on the same page about the direction of the student group. We work to adhere to policies and guidelines. If there's ever questions, talk to one of us in student engagement. We're here to help. We never want it to be guesswork. We want to make sure we give you the resources you need to be successful. And so as a student leader, we're going to have you work on recruiting members to your student group because it's always wonderful to have more students engaged in your group. Talk about your goals with the advisors and student leaders. Advertise. We'll talk a little bit more as we go forward on this video about how to do some of these things and help you along the way. One of the best ways to recruit new members is through our Connect Fest events. You'll see the dates on the page, September 3rd, 4th, 8th, and 9th for Catonsville, Essex, Owings Mills, and Dundalk. You'll also see this link to RSVP in the description of the video if you're watching this on YouTube below. So click that link. You'll need to log in with your CCBC username and password on that to reserve a space for the Connect Fest events. If you're viewing this after the Connect Fest events in September, we will have another Connect Fest in early February for the spring semester. So there's still opportunity for that as well. These are a couple pictures from Connect Fest, kind of what to expect. We have hundreds of students that will attend that want to see how they can get engaged and connect to the campus community. So it's your chance to really illustrate what you have to offer as a student organization and what you can give to them as students who are looking to get engaged, to learn something new, to experience something new. We also want to talk a little bit today outside of Connect Fest because I'm sure you've already paused this video and registered for Connect Fest and are so happy you have. But we also want to talk a little about some of the resources we have to help you as a student leader, not just when the student engagement office open 8:30 to 4:30, but some of those opportunities that are after hours. And so a lot of the resources we have are online on the MyCCBC student engagement community. And so if you go to the CCBC website in the top right, you'll see it's circled there, the MyCCBC tab. Hopefully you've been to MyCCBC before. But it has a lot of resources there that'll help you. You'll need to log in with your CCBC credentials. You've hopefully done that. And if you haven't been there before, you'll see it on the left-hand side under CCBC, student communities. So when you go online, there's a lot of information there, a lot of resources, a lot of links that you're looking for. I know that links get distributed by email, emails get lost, we get it. This is your home as a student leader or as an advisor to find all those links, all that information anytime you need it. And once you're online, if you click on student clubs and organizations, it is there. There's all sorts of information, including how to contact other student organizations, because one of the things student organizations do great at is collaborating and combining their efforts. So there's a whole list there on the student organization site on my CCBC, how to contact the advisors for student organizations, how to connect with other student organization leaders. So you can see who's there, which campus they're on, and find a way to connect with, and you have that shared and common interest. On the right-hand side there, you'll see the quick links for student leadership. You'll see all the information about how to request rooms, how to put in information for travel, how to put in all the documentation you need to renew your membership as a student organization, your affiliation. Everything's up there. Also want to talk a little bit about SGA and what SGA does, because SGA is kind of an umbrella student organization. And so one of the biggest things SGA does is really work with our student organization to help them be successful. As a student organization, you're going to have an SGA liaison. So a member of student government that's there as a fellow student, as a peer, to really help you and your student group be successful. So they're going to be reaching out to you at least once a month over email, if not more often, connecting with you, hopefully attending your meetings, hopefully finding a way to be a resource for you, to connect you to the wider campus community, but also to connect you and help you and give you advice, a sounding board. So that person's a resource for you. But SGA is really there as that umbrella organization to help students. And so that's both in the student organization context, like I was kind of talking about, but also in an advocacy context. And so SGA members do a whole lot with advocacy, a whole lot with funding, a whole lot with policy, whether that's going down to Annapolis and working with our upper college administration and our state legislators, our delegates and senators through the funding process and advocating for the needs of CCBC students, or going on to the College Senate here at CCBC and connecting with them about policy procedures. These are your SGA leaders that are really working hard to have the student voice heard by those who need to hear it. And so with that, one of the important things that we ask of student organizations is that they share their voice with our student government leaders. And so we ask when the SGA leaders connect with you as student leaders and as advisors, you're able to have that connection with them, have that conversation with them about what you need, what you see as a need, in or out of the student organization on campus. And so we do have meetings every semester with SGA. We ask students to come either in person or virtually. It's really up to you. That information will all be over email. It's on the My CCBC site. You'll see it around. But we have 3 open meetings each semester, as well as a large town hall meeting with our upper administration, President Dr. Curtinitis, several of the vice presidents and other deans and administrators that can help you as a student be there. So we ask that you contribute, we ask that you engage, we ask that you find a way to make that connection to help improve the CCBC experience, not only for you, but for other CCBC students as well. The meeting calendar, we'll go out over email. It changes a little bit every semester, but we tend to set it by the first week of the semester at the latest. So please keep an eye out for that. One of the big things we want to talk to student organizations about, make sure folks are on a good page about, is to talk about how budgeting works. And so each year, a new student organization, once you do the paperwork, which we'll talk about in a little bit, they're open for request. So we have some money. It's not a huge amount, but there is money available for new student organizations that are trying to get their foot in the door. They're really getting off the ground and really doing some good stuff on campus. If you've been an established student organization, we've allocated you $2,000, and that would have been communicated at the end of the last academic year. And if you ever have questions about what your budget is, whether it's right now, if you have a budget, or you don't know how much has been spent, please contact myself, one of my colleagues in student engagement. Their contact information will all be listed in this YouTube video and the description as well, so you have it. Please reach out to us. We're always happy to share information about budget with student organization leaders and advisors. We also know that sometimes student organizations keep doing wonderful events, keep doing wonderful opportunities for the campus community. And so there is some additional funding over that initial $2,000 allocation for those student groups that are continuously doing wonderful things. And so that request process looks the same. We'll talk about that in a second. but it is something that we do have some funding available after that initial allocation. Biggest thing we talk about with expenditure requests and any kind of allocation and any kind of request that you're putting in is please submit at least 2 weeks in advance. That helps our staff make sure that any kind of catering you have is able to arrive on campus and be prepared for your meeting. Helps us ensure that the rooms you want are set up the way you want, the information technology, the IT equipment, if you need microphones, that are all in place. It helps us ensure that all the paperwork's done to make it happen. And so we do need that 2-week lead time with people being out on leave or in meetings, and shipping time for things you need us to order. So we do ask that any kind of event, any kind of meeting you're having, please get us what you want, your request, at least 2 weeks in advance. We also say, please make sure we're approving it. We approve almost everything that comes in, but unfortunately we can't approve everything. Please ensure that everything's approved. We'll often purchase it ourselves and not ask you to put money out of your own pocket. Sometimes there is that need to have things reimbursed. We hope that you're making sure that everything is approved ahead of time, because we never want to leave anyone hanging. If you ever have a question, please let us know about where that looks at. So the budget can be used a whole lot of things. Budgets can be used to pay for performers or guest speaker fees, can be used for giveaways, decorations, things you need from Amazon. We do have an Amazon account and can ship that directly here. A lot of times student organizations order food. And that's really up to you to have that conversation as a student organization leader and as an advisor, as far as where you want to spend that money. Once you have an idea as a student organization, put in that request form, and we'll take a look at it as soon as we can. I do want to point out that budgets can't be used to buy like permanent equipment for the college. So like CCBC has computers you can utilize in almost every classroom, almost every room you would be in. We have printers. We're always happy to print for you in student engagement. We probably can't buy you your own printer though. But if you do need stuff printed, let us know. We're happy to do that. We just can't buy you your own typically. So I do want to talk about movies too, because this question comes up every year in almost every student organization. And every student organization, a lot of times, would like to watch a movie, and that's great. We're certainly supportive of that. The challenge with movies is when you pop a DVD in or go to stream a movie, oftentimes you'll see one of these at the front end of the movie about these warning for anti-piracy. And so one of the things is that student organization showing a movie, it is considered a public movie viewing under US copyright law. And so we do need to secure the copyright on that. Oftentimes there's a fee with that, and we're happy to work with you through that process. We're happy to use student organization budget if you'd like to do that. But we do have to make sure we're doing it legally. And so my job and my colleagues' job are to help make sure that happens, to make sure you're in a good place. We have had colleges sued lately. We've had student organization advisors and student leaders sued, and we don't want to have that happen here. It's been at other colleges, hasn't happened here. We're going to keep up that trend this year. So let us help you out. There are sometimes some small filmmakers in the area that they just want to get their information out. They don't need money or anything. We do need something in writing. We do need that documentation that we are okay to secure the copyright and show that publicly. But Hollywood, it's paved in gold because it does cost some to view that movie. So let's talk about catering, because student organizations love getting food for their meeting. It's a great way to attract students. It's a great way to bring people in and, smelling the food or see you bringing the food in. And it's a great way to feed some hungry stomachs and keep people engaged and involved in your student organization. We love being able to provide that for student organizations. All student organization events, when you're on campus, we do need to go through Sodexo, which is our campus dining company, for almost all catering options. And so there's a couple of exceptions to that. But what's nice is when you go onto the request form, you'll be able to see the menus and see what's there as far as from a catering perspective. We do have some exceptions for that. And so sometimes there are certain cultural foods that you're trying to make authentic because you're looking to represent a certain culture, you're looking to educate, and we're on board with that. And we can look to go with outside vendors for that. Sodexo sometimes cannot provide everything kosher and halal, and we know that folks have dietary needs. So if you do have those needs, please let us know, and we can look at other vendors for that. And then we also know that Sodexo is typically open 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So if you're having events on campus on nights or weekends, we can look at other vendors for that. Any of that needs to be approved in advance by our office and student engagement though. So we do need some lead time to make sure that we can get those contracts together. It takes significantly longer for many of these businesses outside of Sodexo to get that contract secured for the food we would need to purchase. Sometimes I know students like to purchase themselves and get reimbursed, which is an option, but it also can be a lot to ask someone to put that on their shoulders. So we do like paying for it out of our pocket ideally, but please work with me, work with Crissy, work with our staff to make sure that you're on the same page about that and what needs to happen. The nice thing is when all the catering goes in, when the room is requested, we're going to communicate to you, here's what it is, here's what whenever it needs to be picked up at the cafe, and here's where it needs to be brought back. We do need the catering orders placed at least 2 weeks in advance, like I said, because we need to reserve the room. If the room's not available, we can't order catering because there's not going to be an event, or we might need to shift the time back an hour, or move it up an hour, or move it to a different day. So with all those logistics, we do ask for those requests to be put in at least 2 weeks in advance. Sixer catering needs to get picked up at the cafe, and any kind of permanent equipment, chafing dishes, utensils, pots and pans, need to be brought back to the cafe after the event. Another thing student organizations like to spend some information on is traveling. And so whether that's going into Baltimore and going to an art museum, trying to plan a trip down to up to New York City or down to DC, we're happy to support those things. There are processes and procedures that protects you, it protects the college. It's important to make sure that that paperwork is filled out. And so please make sure we start that process early if there's travel involved that you're looking to do. We do need to have a faculty or staff member as an advisor travel with the student organization. So make sure if as students you're looking to go somewhere, one of the first conversations should be with your advisor about what kind of timeline works for them, what dates work for them, what locations work for them. In conversation with me or with Crissy, please have that in mind when you either submit the request form or have that conversation with us, because we want to make sure to help you through the way. We're typically able to help sponsor students to conferences as well. So we know a lot of our student organizations have professional conferences to attend. Again, we need everything in writing, everything secured, so that we can either directly pay or get all the reimbursements paperwork lined up. So please get that information in advance, whether that's waivers or travel applications. We're going to help you through the process. Our request form will tell you exactly what we need and link it all to you. Anything else you want us to buy? A lot of student organizations will make pens, t-shirts, those type of things. We're happy to get that online. Any kind of giveaways you want to do, as an incentive for people arrive, someone wins a contest or someone participates and they can get $10. We can't do gift cards. That is a recent change within the Maryland state statutes. We're happy though to be able to give money to students on their one cards. And so that can go for a couple things. We can give the $10 or $15 for winning the, trivia contest you're having at your meeting. We're happy to put money on the one card. They can use it at the cafe, they can use it at the bookstore, they can use it to purchase tickets on campus. Any of those one card bucks, we're happy to give in lieu of gift cards. So please keep that in mind, as we're not going to be able to approve any kind of gift cards for student organization incentives. I also want to spend a minute talking about this from a micromanaging standpoint. Like, our job in student engagement is to support you. We want you to be successful as a student organization. Our job's not to micromanage and dictate what you do, but we want to help. And so a lot of times students have these fabulous ideas, and we love these ideas, and we want to make it work. And sometimes those ideas need a little tweak or two to keep everyone happy, to get all the paperwork done. But most ideas we can make happen. So please come out of that conversation with us so we can help you make that happen. It's your student organization. It's our job to help you. We talked about expenditure requests. We need them 2 weeks in advance. The link to the expenditure request form is in the description on the YouTube video. And that's all in the same form. So when you're planning an event, sometimes you need to reserve a room. Sometimes you need to order food. Sometimes you need to have budget approved for other purchases on Amazon or somewhere else. All that's on one form, and it'll ask you, hey, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? And if you say, hey, yes, I need to reserve a room, it'll ask you when and where you want to reserve the room. If you say you don't, it's not going to ask you those questions. If you say you need to order food, it'll give you a link to all the menus on campus. If you say you don't need to order food, it won't give you all those links. So it's important to look through that as you're going forward and put you through there. And so this is, in general, it's a Microsoft form to put in, and you'll see it online at this link. And again, it's in the on your screen, but it's in the description on the YouTube as well, so that you can directly click that, because we know it's not going to work in the video. You will need to log in with your CCBC credentials, and when you're on the form, it'll take you through those questions I had previously talked about. The request approvals, as soon as you click submit at the end of the form, you'll automatically get an email. Your advisor will get an email, because you will have been asked to put your advisor's email address in if you are not the advisor. And the student engagement staff will review the request, and we'll let you know, hey, if you want to do this event Wednesday at 2 p.m., it's not available on this Wednesday, but it is available on next Wednesday. Or if you really want to do it on that first Wednesday, it might need to find a different location. But we're going to work with you through that process. So please keep an eye on your email, because oftentimes we might need to ask a clarifying question. And so the first step is, once you submit that approval, give us a little bit of time to take a look at it. We'll get the information in, but please don't submit the form and never look at your email again, because most likely we're going to have to get some other information from you. For purchasing, again, most of the time we're going to use our credit card and purchase it directly for you. Sometimes there are things that, for what you're looking to do, we can't purchase with our credit cards. We might need to get reimbursed. We might need to send a check directly. Biggest thing we say is, if we approve you for reimbursement, you need to keep an itemized receipt for all purchases and turn it in the student engagement office. Like I said, most of the time we're going to pay for it ourselves to not put anyone in that place, but sometimes with the creativity our student organizations have, it does need a reimbursement. Again, I know I've said this before, but please don't purchase anything until you've been notified in writing your approvals. Your request has been approved. It's incredibly important. We're also going to give you a tax exempt certificate once your request is approved, as we cannot reimburse for tax. A couple things to think about when you're planning events is, we're here to chat. We've been doing this for years in student engagement. We've seen student organizations do some really good stuff. We've seen student organizations struggle. We want to make this as easy as we can for you. If you're not quite sure the direction to head in, drop me an email, drop an email to one of my colleagues, stop by the office, say, hey, can I just use you as a sounding board for 10 minutes to go through this, what I'm thinking, help me figure out what's going to work or not work. Sometimes it's easier just to sit down and have a quick 10-minute conversation, and we can pull up a room availability of, hey, this room's not available that you really want on, the first 2 Thursdays, but it's available on that Tuesday. Will that work? Or do you want to look at the Thursday after, the Wednesday before, or an hour later, or an hour before? Have that conversation with us. We're happy to sit down and talk. We encourage you to have more than those 2 weeks of planning for some of those major events that you do. If we're looking to do a trip down to Washington, D.C. and needing to think and plan about transportation, that takes some time to get contracts together for a bus, or look together and figure out what's going to work with like a market train schedule. That's pretty often what people do for trips down to D.C. or to rent a van. Your advisor can borrow a van from the college. So those are all things to think about. And let's make sure we're trying to think about it as far in advance to make your trip as successful as possible. We also have publicity. We want to help you advertise your events, advertise your meetings, advertise that you're looking for new members, all those things you want to do. There's a link to this down in the chat below. But please, if you are looking to have stuff sent out in the weekly email that Student Engagement publishes, we're happy to publish information about your student organization. If you want us to print flyers, we're happy to print and post them around campus for you. There's a whole bunch of different ways to connect with students at CCBC, and we want to do it, help you out. We also want to make sure that when you're advertising and have printed publicity, that you do use the footer at the bottom. Oftentimes there's questions from different students, and so if they know that this is a legitimate flyer, it has the footer, it's posted around campus. This file will be linked on the YouTube as well as on my CCBC and be emailed out as well. And then we encourage you to keep connecting with us. There's a whole lot happening on campus, and we want you to be a part of it. We're glad you've started this leadership journey, and we're excited that you're going forward. So a couple things to do. And so hopefully this isn't the first time you've heard about it, but if it is, congratulations, now you're aware. So every year we have a short reaffiliation process to do before October 1st. And so at the end of the summer, every student group's kind of in the same place. We've got to make sure there's still students interested. In May, a lot of students graduate, they transfer, they leave, and that's very exciting for them. But we want to make sure the students who are here in the fall semester and the spring semester, that they're interested, that there's still a continued interest in your student group. So what we ask you to do each year is to let us know, hey, there's still students interested. And so let us know what your organization membership looks like. Let us know there's at least 8 students interested in your student organization. And then let us know what those students who are in charge of your group looks like. Who's on the executive board? Who are the students that are making those decisions for you and your student organization budget? So let us know how to contact those students, what their email addresses are. Your advisor also needs to complete the advisor agreement. And so that's linked below as well, like the links to the executive board contact information, organization membership, and the budget training forms are linked on the YouTube as well. This is the student organization orientation budget training video. So you are watching it. Once you're done watching it in another about 5 minutes, there is a link on the YouTube video before. Scroll down, click it, log in with your CCBC credentials, and confirm that you have watched this video and you are more aware of what to do and what not to do with your budget. And if you do have questions, let us know. These are the friendly faces that you're going to see. I know we talked about this before, but if you do need assistance, please contact these folks. We are here to help. We don't want this to be guesswork. We do want it to be something that you're successful with. And so please let me, let my staff, let other people, my colleagues know how we can help you. We kind of have this shared goal of making your student organization successful. And so that is a shared commitment. And we're very excited to work with you this year. If you have questions, contact information is on your screen here. It'll also be in the description of the video on YouTube. I look forward to meeting a whole lot of you if I haven't already, and I hope you all have a great day. Please connect with Student Engagement. We're happy to help you however we can. Have a good day. Bye-bye.